KENS 5, All Eyewitness News this morning starts now.
The Spurs touchdown in South Beach. KENS 5 has a crew on the ground, and we're going to hear from Joe Reinagel coming up.
A disturbing trend in San Antonio, rape cases on the rise. A woman talks about her ordeal on KENS 5.
A massive memorial planned for fallen firefighters in Houston. How San Antonio is helping our neighbors. Good morning, it's June 5th. I'm Mat Garcia.
And I'm Natalie Tejeda. You're waking up to KENS 5 Eyewitness News here at 4:30. Let's get a check of our weather with Paul. You know, it feels so nice outside this morning.
Especially the mornings and the evenings, but we're going to have another hot day there, Paul.
It'll be another hot one today, that's right. Yesterday's high was right around 90.
Also new this morning, a 22-year-old is in critical condition after a drive-by shooting on the east side. Authorities say the suspects opened fire on two men outside the MLK Food Mart on Martin Luther King Drive just before 9 last night. One person was hit on his hand and in his side. The suspects remain on the run this morning. They were last seen driving away in a black Chevy Malibu.
Violent crime in San Antonio is down. However, that is not the case for rape in the Alamo City.
New numbers just released show rape is on the rise. Our Brooks Fowler spoke with one victim who hopes that by sharing her story, it will help others. Now, according to the Rape Crisis Center, only 16 in 100 rapes is reported. Well, after being flooded out during torrential rains 2 weekends ago, the Olmos Basin Golf Course will reopen this morning. Here's a quick flashback as to what it looked like after the storm. It was one of the hardest hit areas during the Memorial Day weekend flooding. Meanwhile, last night, San Antonio residents swamped by last weekend's floods got a chance to talk with city leaders about the recovery efforts.
Yeah, the goal of the meeting at Cable Elementary was to determine which areas need more help cleaning and removing flood damage items. Officials also want to figure out how to prevent future flood disasters.
Well, the city of Houston is preparing an emotional memorial this morning. The city's fire department lost 4 firefighters this past Friday during a hotel fire. The group died when the building collapsed on them as they were searching for trapped people. The memorial is this morning at Reliant Stadium. 40,000 people are expected to attend. The fire was the deadliest in the department's 118-year history. And among those in attendance will be a contingent of San Antonio firefighters.
Yeah, the San Antonio Fire Department is sending vehicles and crews to help our neighbors to the east. SAFD will send 150 firefighters to fill in at various Houston fire stations as personnel there will attend the memorial.
And the Spurs getting ready for a showdown on South Beach. Joe Reinagel is in Miami. He's going to join us next.
4:39, the Spurs arrived in Miami last night, getting ready to take on the Heat as the NBA Finals get underway for tomorrow.
That's right. Joe Reinagel is kicking off our week-long team coverage of the series. He was there as the Spurs touchdown. All right, thanks so much, Joe. And now if you want to keep up with all things Spurs as they head into the series with the Heat, you can download the Silver and Black app. It is free and in the App Store. I have that on my phone, too.
Stay with KENS 5 for coverage of the finals. We have an entire team in South Beach dedicated to Spurs coverage. You see them there, all those beautiful faces. We'll be live starting this evening. Don't go anywhere. Paul has a look at your forecast coming up after the break.
Killer bees are swarming South and Central Texas.
Yeah, just this week, a man near Waco was attacked by a hive of bees on his farm.
That story just gives me the hives. I am just allergic to bees. Okay, this story is kind of interesting. Outsourcing American companies is something many people just frown upon, from politicians to average citizens. But what about when a state agency does it? TxDOT announced it has signed a contract with a Japanese company to privatize its IT department. Well, that leaves 300 Texas jobs in question. The current employees have the option to continue on with the new company, but only for 6 months. Then it's the company's decision if they want to keep the employees. The company says the new move will help TxDOT save $30 million.
A dermatologist accused of sexually assaulting 2 patients attempts to derail his trial by claiming he had a one-night affair with the Bexar County District Attorney Susan Reed.
Yeah, the DA showed up in court yesterday ready to defend her name. James Munoz reports this morning. 452, 72 degrees. The tornado that leveled much of El Reno, Oklahoma last week is a record breaker.
Enormous. The National Weather Service has upgraded the tornado to an EF5 and says, well, it was 2.6 miles wide.
And some Mississippi River communities swamped by flooding get some unwanted news. More rain is expected across the nation's midsection, and that could slow down the river's retreat from its peak levels. The fire chief in West Alton, Missouri, says people are ready to leave at a moment's notice if a levee that was breached and then fixed shows signs of giving away again. And it'll be a while longer before we find out if there's going to be a delay in the start of the Fort Hood shooting rampage trial. The judge says she will not make a decision until Major Nidal Hassan provides evidence to support his defense strategy. Hassan says he will explain that he killed 13 people in 2009 massacre because soldiers were about to deploy to Afghanistan. He says he was trying to prevent the deaths of Taliban fighters. Well, 454, 72 degrees. They may not be in town for games 1 and 2, but the Spurs still want to give fans the arena experience. We'll tell you how after the break.
The Silver and Black will host viewing parties at the AT&T Center for the Spurs road games throughout the series with the Miami Heat. So be a part of that. The party is free, but you have to have a ticket. You can get them at all San Antonio area Wingstop locations beginning this morning at 11 a.m. on a first-come, first-served basis. The first viewing party is, of course, this Thursday. Everyone that goes will receive Spurs car flags.
I would go just for the car flags.
To put them on your car.
Do you get free wings from Wingstop too?
I doubt that, but I tell you, Wingstop's going to be busy.
There'll be some good eating to watch a wonderful game, and hopefully the Spurs become victorious.
I have a feeling, go Spurs, go.
That's right. It's going to be a good. It's going to be a good game for sure. Today we got a little heat out there. High temperatures will be in the lower 90s. Lots of sunshine. Going to be a nice day today.
Right. I do not like how the pundits are all the talk right now is about Miami.
Where's the love for the Spurs? Come on.
We'll show them the love on the court.
All right, that's it for 4:30. We'll be back in just a bit.
Ken's 5 All Eyewitness News this morning starts now.
Happening right now, a toddler found dead on the northwest side. Why police suspect foul play.
And firefighters from San Antonio, Texas, and all the U.S. heading to Houston to help honor fallen firefighters who died in the line of duty.
And the biggest U.S. tornado yet. New information about the second EF5 twister in Oklahoma in under a month. Just how big was it? Wow. Good morning on this Wednesday, June 5th. I'm Mat Garcia.
And I'm Natalie Tejeda in for Sarah Pagani. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Those top stories coming up in just a few minutes. But first, it feels so nice outside. It's kind of mid-70s-ish. Not too bad. Not too
Mornings
humid
are
yet.
always the best during this time. Good morning, Paul.
All right, let's talk about what's happening out there on the roadways. Starting off nice for us, taking a look over on the west side, close to that 90 and 1604 interchange. Looking pretty nice for you once you get onto 1604. Close to Petranco, West Military, speeds there in the upper 40s, low 50s. Taking a look outside on one of our TransGuide cameras, close to 10 and 1604. We dealt with some pretty severe overnight construction, especially on 10 eastbound as you're heading towards that Hebner UTSA area. Things were shut down about 3 lanes, but looking good, wide open now. And then a close check in the downtown area, also looking nice and clear this morning.
All right, 5:02 right now.
Police are investigating the death of a toddler on the city's northwest side.
That's right. Investigators are calling his death suspicious. Jenny Suniga, live with the latest. Jenny, good morning.
504, 71 degrees. Houston is preparing to honor fallen heroes this morning. 4 Houston firefighters were killed in a massive hotel fire on Friday. They were searching for people when the building collapsed on top of them. Up to 40,000 people are expected to attend the memorial at Reliant Stadium.
And more than 3,000 of them will be firefighters from Texas and around the country.
They're going to help honor their fallen brothers and protect Houston during the service. Jeremy Diesel reports. And just after George Strait's career ended on a high note, he's faced with a tough loss. And good morning to you. Looking pretty nice for us out there on the roadways. Not dealing with any accidents. It's always a really nice way to kind of kick off our drive. Taking a look at our KENS 5 instant traffic map up over here on the north side, close to Evans and Marshall Road. If you're getting ready to head northbound, speeds currently in the upper 40, upper 50 mile per hour range. Southbound also looking nice and quiet, close to Stone Oak Parkway and Evans Road as well. Speeds there in about the mid 50s to low 50 mile per hour range. Currently, your travel time from Stone Oak Parkway into the downtown area, that's going to run you about a 16-minute drive. If we look outside on a few of those TransGuide cameras, right in the downtown area, 37 right at the 35 interchange, only a few cars out there. And then again, closer, a little bit further out towards 281 and Jones-Maltzberger, man, practically non-existent, just one or two lone cars out there. So it should be good for you. Paul, send it over your way because, it's been feeling a little hot, but not nearly as hot as I'm hoping. I'm hoping to hold off on summer as long as I can.
Okay, what kind of temperature do you want? What would you want?
What would make me happy?
Yeah.
Maybe 73 degrees, 74 degrees,
All right.
but that's long
For
gone.
a high temperature, yeah, that request is denied. All right, temperature.
And welcome back. Your time now is 5:16. Bexar County officials have declared a state of emergency after the Memorial Day weekend flooding. They hope it leads to federal assistance to help rebuild.
What we need is grants. I don't know where the federal government is on this, but FEMA ought to be front and center.
A survey team went out across the city yesterday to assess the damage from the floods. To qualify for federal assistance, there must be more than 800 uninsured homes with damage. That's unlikely, so the state will probably step up to provide grants for rebuilding. And after being closed since being flooded out by torrential rains 2 weekends ago, the Olmos Basin Golf Course will reopen today. Here's a quick flashback to what it looked like right after the storm. All 18 holes of the course were underwater at one point. It was one of the hardest hit areas during the Memorial Day weekend flooding. Its reopening is welcomed by many. Olmos Basin Golf Course is one of San Antonio's most popular municipal courses.
Highs will be in the mid-90s. So, Natalie, I know you're not a geek like me, so you probably won't be looking off to the north at those big
Paul, we
thunderheads.
like the fact that you're a geek. That's what we love about you, Paul.
Well, thank you.
All right, let's talk what's happening out there on the roadways. Taking a look up here on the northwest side, close to that 1604 interchange. We've been dealing with a lot of construction overnight, especially on I-10 eastbound. The good news is a lot of that construction is cleaned up. So if you're getting ready to head eastbound close to Camp Bullis, La Cantera Parkway, speeds currently in the upper 60s, low 70 mile per hour range. Then in a little bit closer towards the downtown area, starting to see a little bit of congestion on 35 northbound in between 10 and 90, but it's not going to slow you down on 10 either westbound or eastbound near Calabar and Hildebrand. Speeds there in the upper 50s and low 60 mile per hour range. Currently, your travel time from Bernie Stage Road down to that 410 interchange, that's going to run you about a 12-minute drive. If we look outside on those TransGuide cameras this morning, again, 10-1604, all of that overnight construction on 10 eastbound has been cleaned up, and then in towards that downtown area over at that 1035 interchange, nice and clear. Nat. And the father of country music legend George Strait has passed away. 91-year-old John Strait died on Monday. In a statement, George said, "We are grateful for the time over the last few weeks that we were able to spend with Daddy before he passed away. I want to thank everyone for their prayers and support during this difficult time as we mourn our family's loss." John Strait's funeral will be held this Thursday at the First Baptist Church in Pearsall at 2 p.m. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Spurs will open the doors of the AT&T Center to give fans the full finals experience during road games.
That's right. The team will host its viewing parties throughout their series with the Miami Heat. The party is free, but you have to have a ticket.
Yeah, you can get them at all San Antonio area Wingstop locations beginning today at 11 a.m. on a first-come, first-served basis. The first viewing party is this Thursday. Of course, everybody knows that. Everyone that goes will receive free Spurs car flags. Let's take a look at the schedule, Natalie, for the finals. Game 1 is tomorrow night at 8 in Miami.
And then the first 2 games and the last 2 games will be in Miami. The middle 3 games will be here in San Antonio. Go Spurs, go! Now, you may have seen, though, a KENS 5 promo featuring our evening anchor team, Sarah Lucero and Jeff Goldblatt, and a stuffed grizzly bear. Well, here's the outtake that you didn't see.
Go Spurs, go.
Shadow!
Sucker.
Oh, okay. So we're about to shoot a new promo for the NBA Finals against the Heat, but we want your ideas. You can find the blooper, though, if you want to see it again, on our Ken's 5 Facebook page. You can leave your suggestion and your comment about the blooper. It may just end up on TV.
You know what's funny about that? I thought that was an actual stuffed bear. I didn't think that was a real
I didn't think
person
there was a
inside the
in
bear.
there either.
That is hilarious. Be sure to stick with Ken's 5 for continuing coverage of your San Antonio Spurs and the NBA Finals. Of course, we're going to have the series covered from every angle with live reports from Joe Ryan-Egel, Marvin Hurst, Sarah Lucero, and Vinny Vanzetta starting tonight at 10 p.m. We should also mention that Gary Cooper is also there.
That's right. We
Gary
got the whole
Cooper?
team. Gary Cooper.
I wonder what kind of insight Gary Cooper is going to give us from over there.
I don't know. He can shoot. He can
Gary
report.
Cooper,
He can do
Gary
everything.
Cooper is a very talented individual.
Yes,
so
he is.
Do you think the Spurs are going to put him in?
He's tall enough.
No, they will not put him in. He's not talented in basketball. Man, that guy can shoot and he can report. So
That's right. So weather looking pretty good today.
yeah, it's going to be good, but it's going to be hot. High about 93.
I keep saying bring back the 70s.
So it's not
Dress,
gonna happen.
dress cool for another hot day. We'll be right back.
Now,
At 5:30 right now, a man is arrested for allegedly touching himself in public, but he says he's innocent.
And military leaders take on a beating, sexual assault, mishandling in a congressional hearing.
And a gym owner recalls a stark change in demeanor by one of the Boston bombing suspects just days before the attack. Good morning on this Wednesday, June 5th. I'm Mat Garcia.
And I'm Natalie Tejeda. Those are some of the top headlines of the morning. We're going to get to the news in just a minute, but first, feels nice outside, doesn't it?
It does feel nice, but how long are we going to continue, Paul, in this trend of warming weather?
Looking really nice for us this morning so far, not dealing with any accidents. So taking a look up in the New Braunfels area on 35, close to Walnut and Seguin, speeds there in the mid 60 mile per hour range on the northbound side, southbound side near 46 and McQueen, also looking good. Then as we're approaching that 35-1604 interchange, starting to see things kind of kick down into about the mid 40 mile per hour range because of some overnight construction. And looking outside on a few of our TransGuide cameras, 35 over at Walsham, also picking up just a little bit, and then closer towards the downtown area, looking nice and clear.
All right, a San Antonio man is heading to jail for allegedly performing a lewd act at Rolling Oaks Mall.
That's right. Police say he was caught in the act by an 8-year-old boy. Our Jenny Suniga is live with the latest. Good morning, Jenny. And a $10,000 reward is being offered for information on a pair of duck killers. New pictures of the two suspects who killed George the duck on the Riverwalk have been released. Animal Care Services is teaming up with the Humane Society and Crime Stoppers to offer $10,000 for information on surveillance video, as that it captures the suspects picking up the sleeping duck by the neck and tossing its limp body into the river last week. Animal rights activists are hoping these new images will help track the suspects down. And military leaders received a scolding from congressmen during a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing on sexual assaults in the military.
You have lost the trust of the men and women who rely on you, that you will actually bring justice in these cases. They're afraid to report. They think their careers will be over.
Members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff told the Senate committee that sexual assaults are the cancer in the military and that something has to be done, but they strongly disagreed with the proposal to strip commanders of their authority to decide whether to level charges within their units. 537, 71 degrees. An 8-year-old boy says he was duct taped to a chair in school. There you go, Wednesday morning too. Still looking nice for us out there on the roadways. Not really dealing with any accidents just yet. That's kind of the way we like to keep things. Taking a look over here on the west side, close to that 151 and, or excuse me, 1604 90 interchange. That little pocket of congestion we started off with this morning has cleared up for the most part. So once we get on to 1604 near Petrenko, West Military, speeds are going to stay for us in the upper 40s and low 50s. And then over in between 151 and Bandera Road, also going to stay pretty good for us near Shanefield, Bones Crossing, New Gilbo. Speeds there in the low 50s and low 40 mile per hour range. Looking outside on our TransGuide camera, switching over to 410 over at Bandera, starting to pick up, but still relatively sparse. And then a real quick check over at 410 and Austin Highway, picking up as well as we approach that 410-35 interchange. Send over to Paul now to look at our forecast. 5:45 now. An 8-year-old boy claims he's afraid to return to school after he says he was duct taped to a chair by his teacher.
Well, I don't want to go back to that school. I said, Mama, Mr. Wilson duct taped me to my chair.
An 8-year-old Christian Crutchfield says his teacher at Woodlake Elementary taped him to a chair last week as punishment. The Judson Independent School District looked into it and said the teacher and the teacher aide admitted to the situation. The next day, they both resigned. Christian's mom says she will be enrolling him in a new school next year. San Antonio City employees are going head-to-head with Chicago City employees to see who's the fittest of them all. At a rally in Main Plaza, city employees celebrated as they headed into the final months of the Chicago Wellness Challenge. Employees in the challenge are improving in key health measurements such as body mass index and smoking cessation.
A few months ago, I had the opportunity to visit with Mayor Emanuel in Chicago, and I told him that we're going to bring it on, that we're going to have more employees who get biometric screenings and health assessments done, who make sure that they're doing everything they can to be the healthiest set of city employees around the nation.
Well, not only are employees getting healthier, the winners will earn cash. The cash awards are supported by a $5 million grant from the American Beverage Foundation for Healthy America. The challenge will run for 3 months. It starts on January 1st.
All right, Natalie, what is going on out there this morning?
Still looking pretty quiet for us. Real quick, Paul, you had mentioned if people have a trip to Florida planned that they could experience some storms. Is that including the area of Miami where our Spurs are going to be?
Miami's going to be wet, but it's a good thing they're playing indoors.
Yeah, maybe they'll douse the heat. Ooh, all right. Talk about what's happening out there on the roadways. Taking a look up here on the north side, close to that 281 and 1604 interchange. Still looking nice for us this Wednesday morning. If you're getting ready to head northbound on 281 near Evans, Marshall Road, speeds in the upper 40s, upper 50s. Southbound also looking nice and clear near Stone Oak Parkway and Evans Road. Also seeing speeds there in the mid to low 50 mile per hour range. Taking a look outside on a few of our TransGuide cameras right in the downtown area, 37 at the 35 interchange. Starting to pick up, but still you're going to make some good time. And then a little further northbound, 281 at Jones-Maltzberger, also nice and clear. But again, starting to see a little bit more activity this morning. Matt. Well, new numbers have just been released showing just how Texas will be affected by defense furloughs. More than 45,000 defense workers in Texas are facing furloughs, with $148 million in salary being lost. Army employees will be hit the hardest, with more than 24,000 facing mandatory time off. 15,000 Air Force employees will be affected, along with 1,200 Navy employees. 3,700 civil employees will also be furloughed starting July 8th and continuing for 11 weeks. And Major League Baseball is working to suspend 20 of its players for performance-enhancing drug use. That's according to a report from ESPN. Some of the biggest names in baseball are on the list, including Alex Rodriguez and Ryan Braun. Sources tell ESPN that Tony Bosch, the founder of a now-closed clinic in Miami, has agreed to talk with baseball investigators. The suspensions could be handed down within the next few weeks. MLB officials say they will not comment on the story.
5:56 right now. A few of our Facebook fans celebrating their birthdays. He looks really cool. Michael is 42. Happy birthday to you, Michael. Ariana is 36.
And here's a picture of Sergio. He's 31, but this is him when he was a baby.
Oh, okay.
His brother sent this photo in and says he always remembers his baby brother as being just a baby and, of course, always being a kid at heart.
I was about to say that baby never ages, I guess.
Apparently not, you know. But if you want to make your loved one feel special on their birthday, just email us their picture, name, and I always say age is optional to eyewitness@kens5.com. And speaking of the black and silver, here's just a little more Spurs fever for you. Students and staff at Roosevelt Elementary have posted this video on YouTube. Everyone in the halls cheering for the silver and black with signs, t-shirts. Fans from kindergartners to 4th graders, all cheering for the 5th championship ring. You know what I say, boys? It's one for the thumb. One for the thumb.
One for the thumb. What exactly does that mean?
That means Spurs
the
already
ring
have. They got
it's
1, 2, 3, 4. One for the thumb.
Okay,
Thumb's
all right.
a bigger finger, just gotta make sure it fits.
Or I guess you could go the other way. One for the pinky.
Right.
There you go. Whatever. A pinky ring, you know. We're so cool.
Let's
We
just
wear it
get
on our
that 5th
pinky.
ring. How about that?
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, and the weather real
It's
quickly.
gonna be hot. Hot today. 93.
Perfect. All right,
All right.
stay with us. We'll be back.
Here is the gong. Back.